Hi guys, follow me on Instagram to never ever miss any of my crazy updates.
Hi guys and welcome to another vlog. I'm driving this. This is the real Tata Safari. This is the Tata Safari Storme. This is the VariCOR 400. This is a 4-wheel drive model. And this is a genuine true SUV in the real sense. Now this car comes courtesy of RS to me, who loves the Safari so much that he actually has an Instagram page wherein if you love the Safari, you're going to love seeing that page. So look in the pinned comment and follow him there. Straight away, let's open the engine bay. Engine bay doesn't seem open right now, right? But it's actually open from inside, and obviously it gets gas struts. Says VariCOR 400 there. Engine is a bit too noisy. There's insulation there, of course. And you know what? Oh my god, it's such a difficulty putting this down because the gas struts are so active. Says Storme there on the chrome strip, which is right above the grille, which is Chintu Mintu. All halogen lights, projector setup with xenon lights, of course. There's a fog light of the vehicle and of the vehicle, Faisal. Don't eat your words. Anyways, this car looks really amazing, has crazy road presence. The last few units actually got 17-inch wheels, so this car is running on 17 inches, which affects the ride quality a bit. 235, 65, 17 is the size of the tires, and it says VariCOR 400 right there. Some amount of stickering with Storme written, of course. And these rain visors are accessories. Now you can tie stuff using this hole from here. There's one on the top, two on the top as well. So the roof rails are very much functional. To show you the roof rails, I have to actually climb the side footstep, and then you can see it is actually going upwards, which is a typical characteristic of the Safari. The real one had it, so the fake one also has something similar. And there you can see the antenna of the vehicle. Yeah, it's a very sturdy car. You get a side footstep, of course. The rear discs are rusting a bit or what? Check that out. Now coming to the rear, disappointingly the Storme never had tailgate mounted spare wheel, which the regular Safari had. I'm talking about regular Safari, which came before the Storme. I'm not talking about the fake Safari, which is on sale right now. Says Safari Storme here. VX is the top variant. 4x4 is the variant. It also comes in 4x2, of course. All halogen lights. You get a high mounted stop lamp with a rear spoiler, a rear wiper, Tata logo there, Tata written right there. Dual exhaust. Yeah, these are very much real exhaust, so Faisal Khan's fingers of truth will stay away from them. And then spare wheel is full size, but not an alloy. There is a step here you can climb. Okay, it gets rear parking sensors, does not get a rear camera, which is surprising because the older Safaris, the non-Storme version, got a rear camera, PlayStation, DVD player and a refrigerator as well. So Tata used to do all the gimmicks to sell their car rather than working on the engineering aspects. They were like, "Ha, goodies dal dete." This is actually the rear fog light, and it is there on both the sides, which is good. Okay, let's get to the rear, which means I press this button and there swings open the door. Oh my god, that is auto. There's some amount of storage space here. Okay, boot is decent size, but you get jump seats, which are not safe and not that great. But you can just open them like this, and there they open. Actually, I need to open this as well. Yeah. So it's not much in terms of space because obviously your leg will collide here. Good for intimacy if you're into those things while sitting in the last row, but best avoid it because there are no rear seat belts. There's no headrest because such passengers never get a head only. Anyways, there's a handle so that you can get in easier. Let's shut this. You can lock and unlock from here also. That's kind of cool. Okay, only for your particular door. Now this is where the fuel actually goes. Some details about the vehicle right there. Door opens wide enough. Says Safari right here. And this is a sofa literally. There is no center headrest because center passenger also does not get a head. This is actually flat. You've got AC vents here and you've got a charging socket. It's a 12-volt charging socket, not a USB. Magazine holder is here. Okay, and let me actually get inside, which means you have to actually climb in. It says Safari right there down. And trust me, there is good amount of space on offer. Legroom and headroom is amazing. Under thigh support is also good enough. And this thing can be moved up and down. The seat belt, yeah, moves quite a... Okay, when it works, it works. When it doesn't work, it doesn't work. That's how things are. Start on at the end of the day. What do you expect? Okay, now it... I am tired, man. What's wrong with Tata Motors cars? Why can't they have a consistent quality? Anyways, it works, so it goes all the way up. When it doesn't work, it doesn't go anywhere. There's a handle to hold on to, but this covering has come out, which is a typical problem of the Safari Storme. Otherwise, it's covered like that. You've got light placement here on the top, white lights. Lot of AC vents, 4 of them here on the top, 4 of them actually. And there's a center armrest as well, which is huge because there is some mask and all which is kept here. And then you can remove the twin cup holders, and that is kind of cool. It's a sofa here. There is good amount of headroom. Actually, seats are very comfortable. Dashboard design is super duper awesome. Look at it, very classy. Okay, people will say it's dated, but I would say it's very classy, very sweetly done, not complicated, no unnecessary buttons and all that, because it doesn't have many features. There's a puddle lamp right there. Now the trick is that there's this lever here which you can pull, okay, and then you can recline the seat like this, and then you can put the seat forward, for which you need 2 hands, because this lever has to be put like this, which means that, yeah, I need to use both my hands, and there it's slotted. So in case you want to increase the boot carrying capacity, you can do this as well, and check that out. That's some crazy space, right? Yeah, that is a crazy space. Why is this here? It should be here, right? Anyways, it's a very practical car, this Safari. Let's get to the front. Not much to talk about. I never showed you the key of the vehicle because it doesn't get keyless entry, push button start. Objects in mirror are closer than they appear. Objects in the mirror are scared more than they appear because of the presence of the Tata Safari Storme. And seats are actually nice and comfortable. You can see armrest for both the passengers. Glove box, rather door pockets are big enough. Power window controls. This is to actually open the fuel lid, which is in a very weird position. And this is obviously the child lock button. These are the controls for the headlights, and you pull it outwards, so you turn on the fog lights. This is for the headlight leveler. He just added this, so you can just stick your phone here if it has magnets. Yeah, there it is, stuck, and it's going to fall because, you know, that is not strong enough. And this is the key of the vehicle. This to unlock the car, this to lock the car, and this to turn on the lights. Of course, it's a flip key with Tata Motor logo on it. And let's just put this inside. Yeah, okay, this is only for the indicators because the light control has been placed right there. Now, when you get inside, firstly, you know you're climbing in. Stop making that sound. Let's just shut this. Glove box is decent size. Glove box is lockable as well. Handbrake is placed here. You can obviously move this. There's a cup holder here. Some storage space here. There's a USB aux, and there is a 12-volt charging socket. This is the 4-wheel drive selector. It says Storme here. Audio system is very plain and basic. These are the controls for the air conditioning. It says Safari here. The non-VariCOR model actually had a clock here. The non-VariCOR model had a beige interior. This has an all black with this sort of a greyish finish, which is quite nice. There's some storage space here as well. Instrument cluster is very basic. Let's actually turn on the car. Oh, clutch lock. Yeah, there it turns on. And yeah, it's very basic. You get a tachometer, you get a speedometer, multi-information display. To browse to that multi-information display, you go through this. So it's just going to give you 20 trip meters, clock, and all that. Not much, you know, honestly. These are the controls for the wipers, which you will use while driving the car. The horn is nice and loud, and this is obviously phone control. These are for the audio controls. Steering is actually nice, you know, like newer Tata cars in those times. Where is the lever? Okay, there. This is adjustable only for height. Yeah, only height adjust as such. No auto dimming, of course. Light placement here on the top as well. And there is a mirror here, and RS has not yet removed these plastic sheets, and I shall not remove them either because it's nice. No mirror here. See, the amount of headroom is kind of amazing, and the quality of this car is so much better than what I've seen in older Safaris. Plus, RS has also maintained it really well. These are the controls for outside. You have your mirror adjustment. But trust me, look at it. The car looks very much amazing in spite of the fact that it's been used for 3 years. Around 25,000 kilometers it is done. Still feels nice. Some chrome here and there. And you don't get a dead pedal, which is a bit of a bummer. But it's a no-nonsense car, which is good to drive. Let's start driving right away. Alright, we're all set to go. Let's turn on the car. It takes some time to turn on. You're like, you have to keep this pressed, and off we go. So straight away, let me tell you that the steering actually feels quite heavy. Yeah, steering is actually quite heavy. The gearbox is also a bit rubbery, I would say. But yes, performance is fine. The problem is that low speed drivability is not that great because there is this lag lower down, and because of the lag now it affects the overall drivability in the city. But hey, I'm not complaining about that yet. Okay, the car is so huge now that you have to think whether it will clear or not because the roof can touch. That is the level of height this vehicle has. And as soon as I accelerate, I realize below 2000 RPM it's completely dead. There is no performance as such, but the mid-range is really very nice. So with the VariCOR 400 now, they made the mid-range stronger and the bottom end weaker. So this is actually powered by a 2.2 liter diesel engine, which has its roots towards Peugeot. And I'm just going to come to a halt here, get into first gear, and yeah, we are in two-wheel drive mode, driving the motor. Yeah, and off we go. So the thing is that Isuzu is with us, of course, and here, as soon as the mid-range kicks in, the performance is very smooth. Red line comes in slightly under 5000 RPM, around 4700 RPM is where the red line actually lies of this vehicle. But overall performance is really nice and smooth, and what I really like about the Safari Storme is it gives you the feel. First, you're sitting so high up now, it's just amazing. But you might think this is a cumbersome car to drive. It is actually, because the steering is on the heavier side. The steering is like really very heavy, and you can feel the body roll around the corner. So firstly, the suspension is really on the softer side, which gives it a very amazing ride quality, but it doesn't have the magic carpet ride which the Safari is known for, because this one is actually running on bigger wheel, actually 17-inch wheels now, because of which obviously the profile is lower and it affects the ride quality a bit, but still ride is just amazing because the suspension is really very soft. Now the engine becomes very noisy and boomy. This one is producing 156 horsepower, which is up from 140 horsepower on the non-VariCOR 400 version, and the torque output happens to be an impressive 400 Newton meters, which is up from 320 Newton meters on the non-VariCOR 400 model, which means that this car is producing 16 horsepower more output, which is just amazing, lending to better performance. In fact, it's 1.3 seconds faster when compared to the non-VariCOR 400 Safari. This one takes around 12.5 seconds to go from 0 to 100 kilometers per hour, which is quick enough. The only thing is that the steering is really very heavy, so hydraulic steering, and then because of the heavy weight, it obviously weighs up at higher speed. But the issue which I genuinely feel is that there's some slack in the middle position, and then there's so much body roll because there's a lot of height in this car. Along with that, the soft suspension results in quite a bit of body roll as such, but the view around is amazing. You have a very commanding driving position, and because the dashboard is low set and the windscreen is huge, you get like a theater view of the road in front, which is quite nice. The gearbox is now a 6-speed unit. When dude, this is a Safari, you should be scared. Yeah, people are actually scared of the Safari. Yeah, it has this towering presence, of course, and pulls so amazing. You won't believe it. This car has a top speed of 170 kilometers per hour. Beyond 160 kilometers per hour, now the rear tailgate that starts to vibrate. But till 160 kilometers per hour, you are safe because the Safari will pull and maintain a good high-speed stability as well, and that's in spite of the soft suspension of this car. I think the steering is a bit too small for a car which has such huge dimensions as such, and then the mirrors also feel a little small, although they are big enough, but they also feel a bit small to me. The clutch is not very light as such. It's not very heavy also. It's just like mediocre. RS just came out to actually shut the bonnet because it felt like it was open. And finally we are good to go. So the thing is that you have to be a bit careful while parking this car because there's no reverse parking camera, of course, and even when you short shift now, you make decent progress because the engine is so coarse and unrefined that the more you pull the engine in the higher end of the rev range, the more it will get boomy, but you have to pull it past 2000 RPM because the real grunt lies there. Now this is actually underpinned by a ladder frame chassis or a body on frame chassis, whatever you want to call it, which results in the roll and the lumpy feel. But you know what, the lumpy feel is so well contained. The ride quality of this car is 10,000 times better than what is there on the Fortuner. That is the level. And obviously power is channeled to the rear wheels unless and until you decide that you want to get into 4-wheel drive, and there's a low range transfer case as well, so you can get into 4 low. There's 4 high, of course it has to be because it's 4-wheel drive, and there's a 4x2 option as well, which will be better in terms of fuel efficiency because it is lighter weight, which means better handling as well. Now over speed breakers, you can actually jump them without even thinking twice because that is how good the Safari is over bad roads. It gets decently boomy actually. It's not as bad as I thought it to be because this car has been maintained very well. So what is basically this ladder frame chassis on this car? It's actually the Hydra formed one, the X2 platform, which was also shared with the Aria, and that has really made the Safari Storme way better than the regular Safari in terms of the way it is able to drive. So it doesn't feel hairy at all, it doesn't feel nervous, it doesn't feel like, oh my god, it will topple any moment. No, it doesn't feel any of that. It just feels so much better, and trust me, Tata Motors should not have discontinued the real Safari and got the fake one because it has a real driving feel. I know many people will be like, yeah, but this car did not have any creature comfort, there were no features, it was not even selling and all that stuff, which I agree. But you know what they could have done? They could have given this car a new lease of life because they are carrying the same design since donkey's years. Since the time it was launched, the design has remained the same. There's been no change in the design. Brakes are okay, it has this pitch and roll whenever you try to brake. Into first gear, revving the motor, and off we go. Oh, some amount of wheel spin, then it bogs down and then it pulls again. So power delivery is not very smooth and linear as such because there's a step up in power around 2000 RPM. So as I see it, the Safari Storme is a wonderful car, a car which genuinely feels like an SUV, and there were people who really loved it that they would buy it without flinching an eyelid. The only problem is that the amount of such people was so less and so few now that the sales of the Safari just did not sustain. Tata Motors had to really upgrade the car tremendously to continue to sell it, and then they obviously came up with the G800 for the military, which is basically a light off-road vehicle for them, well, it's heavy, but you can call it light, considering for the army when they say heavy vehicles, well, those are the trucks like the FAT 6x6 from Ashok Leland and whatnot. Now that G800 did not have 800 Newton meters of torque and whatnot, what people imagined. Okay, that was just a category of vehicle, and now the army has decided we don't want any of the Safaris anymore because of the high maintenance and all that stuff. So not the most reliable car from Tata Motors. It depends on how you upkeep it, but you know what, the latest fake Safari is also not very reliable. So there's nothing which has really changed with Tata Motors. They were doing the same thing before, they're doing the same thing now also. So they really need to work on the reliability and the quality of their cars, because at the end of the day, customers are not really happy. I know new Safari customers are very unhappy with you know, a lot of issues which are cropping up, especially with the engine, and the engine is not even theirs. That's the funny part. Now just imagine if this car was still on sale, what would have happened to the Scorpio. I mean, the Scorpio still would have a massive waiting period, but at least people would have a genuine alternative other than a fake alternative. Yeah, this car is not going to put your pants on fire, but it definitely makes it a more involving drive experience, especially because you have a manual gearbox here. So when you're shifting yourself, you just feel so much part of the experience as well. I just wish the steering was better in terms of response and size, bigger as well, because it just feels a tad too small. I want to see what is body roll. Check this out, okay? Yeah, it does roll quite a bit. So guys, this is my vlog of the Tata Safari Storme VariCOR 400. A fantastic car. It's so lovely. It's so lovely. I can't even express in words, because I had one, not the VariCOR 400. I had the regular Safari Storme, and then I actually drove it from Mumbai to Bangalore to Coorg to Bangalore and back to Mumbai. And I did Bangalore Mumbai in just 10 hours driving non-stop. But I had a chipped front windscreen because of the small stones flying, and I was so aggressive. I was taking it off-road and whatnot. Beach mein agar traffic ho gaya to off-road chada do, and because of which the windscreen had a small chip as well. But that experience was just amazing. I got a mileage of around 10 kilometers per liter, which is not bad. Aris is getting a mileage of 12 kilometers per liter, but he lives in Delhi, where, you know, air conditioning is not needed all the time as well. And then obviously I had a VariCOR 400 also. So Tata Motors was okay. What did I just see, a fake one or what? Yep, that's right. So that is actually the Harrier, but anyways, that doesn't matter. The point I'm trying to tell you is that Tata Motors did give me a lot of the Safari original ones, the Storms, for long-term keep, because they knew that these cars are having that soul and emotion, and they don't give me the new Safari because they know that those cars do not have it, because if I drive them, I'll be like, oh, what is this? So they don't want that negative publicity to come along, and that's the reason I've never got a long-term Tata Safari, new one that is, from Tata Motors. So I just should say Harrier Pro Max. But this one, I had multiple one of these, and I drove it all over the place. It was so rugged. I used to drive it like on full pelt all the time, because I knew road or no road, this car will just glide through without any hesitation whatsoever. If you like this vlog, make sure to give it a thumbs up, that's the like button, and also subscribe to the channel. I will see you guys in the next video real soon. Before that, let's stop once and hazard lights on. Into first gear, hazard lights off, revving the motor, and off we go. Some amount of wheel spin, bogs down very fast. No traction control bullshit here. Oh my god, some amount of wheel spin on upshift as well. Yeah, it takes a shift to third gear to reach 100 kilometers per hour, but the performance really is amazing. It's really nice. It's a fantastic car. I love it. Bye bye.